Hey, this is Andy Brown, and in this video, we're going to play around with bucket policies. There's a lot that you can do with it. In this case, what I want to do is do something that's cross-account, because any opportunity for us to do some kind of cross-account programming or anything with AWS is really useful, especially for the exams. So make sure that you have an additional AWS account. You can use a credit card, the same one you used with the other one, to create a free tier account. You can use AWS organizations to create it all under one account. It's up to you how you want to do that. I'm not providing instructions here, as it's very easy to create a second additional account. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started. So as per usual, we have this AWS examples repository. I'm opening it up in Gitpod. So that's what I'm using for that. You use whatever you like to use. I'm going to create a new folder in here. I'm going to call it bucket policies, or bucket policy here. We'll keep it simple. I'm going to create a README as per usual. And as we always do, we're going to create ourselves a bucket. So I can say AWS S3 make bucket S3 / bucket policy example. Okay. And probably spell that right. I'm going to put my initials on the end here and then put some random numbers. We'll go and create this bucket. Great. I'm going to type in clear. And so what I want to do is I want to set a bucket. Let's go take a look at this bucket now and see if we can actually do that. Because normally when public access is on, we're not able to do that. So we go down to bucket policy example. And we go to permissions. We have a bucket policy. Notice that we can edit it. When we did ACLs, we had to turn off block public access. I mean, maybe we didn't, because all we had to do was actually change object ownership. So it's possible in the last time we did the ACL one, we didn't actually have to turn that off. But we can set a bucket policy here without toggling off block all public access. And so that's what we're going to do here. Of course, I always like to do this through the CLI, because we need as much practice as we can get. They do have policy examples here, so we can take a look here at the documentation. And I'm looking for one that's going to provide access across accounts. So we have required encryption. You can see there's a lot of stuff that we can do here. Access to very specific folders. So I'm just going to get started with this and see what we can figure out. So let's go back over to here to our CLI. Actually, we're going to have to go to the CLI commands. So we'll say AWS CLI S3 API, and there's probably one here for bucket policy. So we'll type in policy, and there it is. We're going to go all the way down to examples, and we can see that we can load a file here, so that's good. And I'm just going to place this like this, and we'll grab our bucket name. I'm going to go ahead and paste this on in here. Whoops. It's not what I wanted to happen. Sometimes that copy and paste does not work great for me. Copy, paste. And I'm going to create a new file in here called policy.json. When I run this command, I want to make sure I'm in the relevant directory. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this, because I think it can pick up files locally. So you can put a / in front of there if we wanted to have an absolute link, but that's not what I'm doing, or absolute path. So we need to now implement this policy here. So I'm going to go grab this one to start with. And what I want to do is allow get object for our bucket. So I'm going to go ahead and grab our bucket name here. Paste. And I don't want to deny anything. I'm just going to take that out. And I want to specify a very specific principal in order to access it. So in order to do that, we're probably going to have to create a cross-account role, I would imagine. But let's see if there's any examples here in the documentation for cross-account. Cross. If the IAM identity belongs to a different account, then you must grant a cross-account access to both the IAM policy and the bucket policy. So bucket owner granting cross-account bucket permissions. Let's go take a look here. This is, I guess, a full walkthrough. So it's not that hard to create cross-accounts, but I don't do this every single day, so it's not part of my permanent memory here. So just give me a second to reload my brain, okay? So I keep looking at this, and all I'm seeing here is them putting the principal of the user. So I wonder if I don't actually even need a cross account. A lot of times when you want to gain access to another AWS account's resources, you create a cross account role. And we can do that, but maybe we don't have to. And so I should just try something simpler here and just provide the principal to the actual value here. So notice here that it says for the root of whatever this count is. Notice this is fake because it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 0, 1, 2. That's how you know it's fake. But what I'm going to do is go up to my other account, if I can find it here, and I'm going to find this particular user. And we're going to test this and see if this works. If not, we'll have to spend a little bit more time here, which is not a big deal. But I'm going to go ahead and grab the ARN, so I believe that's what we want here. And then we're going to paste it right into here. So I'm hoping that that's going to say, hey, this particular user is allowed to get objects from this particular bucket. Now, I'm not sure we also need control to list the bucket, so that might be another thing that we might want to provide here. So I'm going to go ahead and just expand the permissions so things are a little bit easier for us to see here. So I'm going to go here and just say S3 list buckets. I think that's a permission. And these are all showing get object, AWS CLI, API permissions, AWS S3 permissions list. And so I'm just looking for those actions. AWS should have a list somewhere here for us. They're not really showing it to me, which is kind of frustrating. We can also get it through the IAM console. So if we just go here and I go over to IAM and I go over to policies and I try to create a policy. I actually don't want to create one. I just want to get access to that data. And I'm going to go here to S3. I think it's just list buckets. So we got list. It's list bucket. Okay, so I'll go back over to here. I know this is just supposed to be list bucket. And when you provide resources, we probably actually have to specify the exact bucket as well. So here I'm saying everything within this bucket. But we also want to say the bucket itself for probably this one here. And I'm just going to put a comma there. And I'll take this off. I think that will work. Need a comma there. And while we're here, we might as well have put object as well, just in case we want to put objects. And so I'm hoping that that's all we need to really do to get access cross account. And I'm going to go ahead and update my bucket policy, and hopefully it won't complain. So go ahead and hit enter. It says the policy contains invalid JSON. Let's take a close look here. Yeah, there's a weird comma here that's not supposed to be there. We'll go and hit up, and we'll try this again. The bucket policy has been applied. Now, just because it's applied doesn't necessarily mean it's working. Let's go double check and make sure our policy is there. I'm giving a refresh here when we had it open earlier. And we can see our bucket policy. Sometimes it's useful to utilize this in here because it can do error checking and stuff like that. I don't really care about that. I know what I'm doing. So I'm thinking that this is going to give us access to this bucket. So let's see if that is true or not. I'm going to open up the console here. And I'm not sure if it matters if we're in the same region as the bucket. But I'm going to just type in here clear, because I had some stuff there from before. And what I want to do is I want to grab that bucket name, whatever it's called, here. And let's see if we can access it. So I have my other window here. So I can say AWS S3 ls s3:////. And just remember that we don't have anything in there. I didn't mean to paste the whole thing. It's just my paste is all messed up here. But we should have put something in there, but we didn't. Now there's no error, so that's a good indicator that we can put something in that bucket. I'm going to say touch bootcamp.txt, and we'll move that file into there. AWS S3 copy bootcamp.txt there, and then I'm just going to grab this here and hit enter. So notice I was able to place that into the bucket. I list it out. great. So I've just done cross-account access. And again, I thought it was going to be more complicated with the role, but I guess in this case, it's a lot easier. So that's really nice. If we were to do this through IAM permissions, let's say we were to create a role and then attach it, we would absolutely have to create a cross-account role. So this is just kind of one of the great reasons for bucket policies. It does simplify some of those actions there. So just say create bucket policy in the other account, access the bucket. And so I'm just going to copy those commands here. We had that one. We had this one. We have this one here, Touch Bootcamp. Okay, so that's good. But there's lots that we can do with these policies, tons and tons and tons. So if we go back here to the docs, it should tell us, like, you can do all sorts of different kinds of access. You can limit on prefixes if you want. So maybe here's an example. So here we could say the source account has to equal this. Not really getting good examples here, but I guess the prefix, we could just put it in here if we want to limit it. So yeah, maybe I'm not showing you the best examples here, but I'm just telling you they're way more flexible than ACLs, as you saw earlier. I kind of feel like we achieved what we wanted to achieve here. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and just do some cleanup. So we want to get rid of the file that was created. So I'm going to go down here, and this will just be remove the bucket. And then we want to remove that file. There we go, and I'll save this for future folks. And I will see you in the next one, okay? Ciao.